So there I was, in front of an Arby's. Bunch of cell phones watching. This banana tries to fight me. Who? No, I mean the fruit. With fists. The whole thing. I mean, it was intense. It was an intense fight. Steve Weiner here from GetRubix.com, and today we're going to continue with our troubleshooting series for the Intune tenant-to-tenant device migration. We're going to look at an issue that's affecting the BitLocker key. I mean, I messed the banana up. Okay, so as part of the migration process, right now the way things are set is we are moving the BitLocker key on a device, escrowing it over to the new Intune tenant in tenant B. So this seems to have been causing some issues for folks. Okay, let's go ahead and open up what that is. That is migrate.bitlocker.ps1. So essentially what we're doing is after the device has left tenant A and joins tenant B, it's going to go ahead and grab the BitLocker key and escrow it to Azure. But what we're actually doing is, and where we're running into the problem is we're running into the problem by in some cases, if you have TPM enabled, there's two keys, right? You have the recovery key type is TPM, then you have the recovery password. And then in other cases, we're getting too many keys. Because what will happen is, depending on how you have Intune set up for your tenant B, you're going to hit this problem. So I'm going to pull this up here. So this is tenant B. And you can see I have 3 keys now. So I was able to escrow 2 keys from the device tenant A, one the TPM key, the other is the recovery password. And I'm also enforcing another one because the device joined tenant B. Got another one. So we have 2 ways to address this, and I think the go forward answer is going to depend on what you want to do. So let's talk about how we can potentially solve this. So the first thing we can do, which kind of makes the most sense, right, is we can go to start migrate PS1. Okay, so right after step 7 here, and I'm trying to get away from the steps because every time I move one, I get messed up, but that's okay. So what we're gonna do down here is, what we're gonna do is we're gonna insert a step here. So we are going to say disable BitLocker. So at the very end, we can actually disable it before that first reboot where we move tenants. And then we're going to rely on our tenant B's policy to enable it. So let's walk through the best way to do that. So we are going to, 1 second here. Okay. So first thing we're going to do is get our BitLocker volume. That's just going to be get BitLocker volume. We need the status of it, right? So BitLocker status. So that's going to be what's it doing here? BitLocker. We're going to do volume status. That's going to come back fully encrypted, fully decrypted, right? And we would like it to be, in this case, if it is encrypted, we want it to be decrypted. So we're going to keep moving on that. We are going to set a true false flag to let us know when this process is complete. So I'm just going to use the Boolean false. And here I go now with some logging, so I know what the heck is going on. So right host checking if BitLocker is enabled. Okay. So we can say, so we can run this whole sequence only if it's enabled. So if BitLocker status is equal to fully encrypted, we can do what we want to do. And let me put the little else down here so I don't forget. Actually, our else is just going to be a right host. BitLocker is not enabled. Real easy. We took care of that. So if BitLocker is fully encrypted, we're going to say BitLocker is enabled. Decrypting. We're going to turn that off. So how do we do this? So the first thing we have to do is we're going to do a do while statement, which is like an upside down if else. So we're going to do while this condition exists. Okay, so if BitLocker status equals fully encrypted, we are going to disable BitLocker, and we need a mount point. And the mount point, I usually just do the system drive environmental variable. We have one drive. If you have more than one drive, that's a little rare these days. We have to work that out. So that's, system drive should take care of that. Actually, let's do the same up here. Get BitLocker volume, mount point, system drive. I just realized I didn't have that. Okay. So that'll disable it. But now what we have to do is we have to say we're disabling it. It doesn't happen right away. So we need to get the percentage that is encrypted. So encryption percentage is equal to BitLocker, and that's going to be our encryption encryption percentage. Okay, so I'm going to show you where we get these from. These are just so you can see what the values look like. Let's blow that up a little bit. So if we were to do BitLocker equals get BitLocker volume, mount point is system drive. Gotta be able to spell, I guess. Okay, so we are fully decrypted at this point. So I guess my lab machine here I'm showing on, it's a VM. It's decrypted. You can see the encryption percentage is 0. Okay, so when it's encrypted, it's going to be at 100. So our countdown is going to be from 100 to 0. So what that means is we're going to read that encryption percentage, and we are going to basically say if that number, the encryption percentage is equal to 0, meaning if it reached the end, we're going to write host. So we're doing this a little backwards. Write host, decryption complete, BitLocker is disabled. Now, and then we can set our flag, BitLocker flag. Oh, come on. BitLocker flag is set to true now, and that's how we know we're done. Else, what we need to do is we need to write host decryption percentage, and we're just going to throw that number in there. Encryption percentage, and we'll add the little percent because it's just going to be a number, and we will sleep. We will have the script sleep for about 5 seconds. And there we go. So let's walk through this. So, and this is all while the BitLocker flag is equal to false. So here we go. So let's take a look at this. So if BitLocker status is fully encrypted, we're going to disable BitLocker, and then we're going to basically, we're going to get that encryption percentage, and it's going to start at 100, and it's going to drop. It drops every 60, 58. It drops a little bit, slowly. So until it's fully decrypted. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to say, okay, because we're disabling, if that percentage is 0, decryption is done, BitLocker's disabled, set the flag to true. If not, we're going to post in the log decryption percentage and the percent. So see 90%, 70%, and then we wait 5 seconds and repeat. And that keeps going until the flag is set to true, which means encryption equals 0. So that's one way to do it, right? And in this model, what will happen is you'll rely on the settings of tenant B to just encrypt all over again, enforce its own BitLocker policy, get its own key, and you'll be fine there. So that's one method. The other thing we can do is we can be more explicit in our the actual migrate BitLocker policy here, script, not policy. So I'm going to get rid of some of this stuff. And we're going to kind of start clean in there. So if you want to try this or make a new copy of it, you can do that. So let's do this. Write host, getting BitLocker recovery key. So this is without disabling BitLocker. We could just wait, and when we run this, still attempt to do the move. So we'll call this BitLocker, just like before, get BitLocker volume, mount point is the system drive. Okay, we're gonna make a new variable called BPID, so BitLocker protector ID. That's gonna be nothing right now. So for each BP in BitLocker, so we're actually gonna loop through all of the key protectors we have. So in every key protector, so sometimes you have more than one. In fact, I can show this. Let's see, what do we have here? Yes. So here, I'll just open up a new one right here and kind of show us. So if I wanted to say BitLocker equals get BitLocker volume, mount point, system drive, and I'll call BitLocker. Okay, so you see we are fully encrypted here. So if I iterate through the key protectors, in this case I have two, a TPM and a recovery password, and the TPM seems to be the issue, so I would only want the recovery password one, which that's the ID. And you can see the password, of course, but we don't necessarily need that at the moment. So what I want to do is I want to say if the BP key protector type, because that'll tell me if it's TPM or recovery. If it is recovery password, well then that's the one I want. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set BPID to BP key protector, and I want the ID. So if we go back for a second, where do we go here? Yeah, I want that. So if the type is recovery password, I want that ID. Okay, so that's what I'm doing here, and then I'm going to break out of this and stop searching. And we can even write that host. Write host BitLocker key to be backed up is BPID. BitLocker key backed up is key, we can say key protector ID, and then give the actual BID, something like that, right? And then all we have to do at that point is run the backup AAD BitLocker key protector. So again, mount point is going to be system drive, but now we can specify key protector ID and pass our variable in. So we're specifically backing up the key that belongs to that ID, and that'll get us around any issues we have. I'm going to add one more write host to say BitLocker key BitLocker key protector for ID BPA has been backed up. So hopefully that takes care of that. Right now, those are reactive solutions. As we progress, we'll find a way to kind of, do something more uniform and consistent that'll work for everybody. But everyone's different. Later.